right, so, Jesus, never done this before, and I feel pretty stupid doing this, but, this is honest, and, I guess the world needs more honesty. So, I want to say that the biggest realizations that we have, I think, are usually long in coming, very, I guess, slow to appear, slow to make themselves apparent to us, and they are, how do I put this? Usually the realizations that we have that are significant are precipitated by relatively insignificant moments. And I had a realization today, I just came back from it, that I wanted to share. So I had a dentist appointment today at 1 o'clock, and I left with what I thought was enough time to go and get some lunch on the way to the appointment and get there. So I went to a White Castle, which was on the way. The White Castle, I guess I waited in line there for maybe 15 minutes at the drive-thru. It's pretty significant, but, I by the time I realized that it was going long, I had already been there for a while, and I just figured I'd stay. I ordered 3 different things for a total of 4 sandwiches. I ordered a brisket sandwich, an Impossible Burger with extra grilled onions, and 2 jalapeno cheeseburgers. When I got, also with extra grilled onions, got the sandwich, and I looked into it and saw immediately after I finally got them that the Impossible Burger had no grilled onions in it whatsoever. When you ask for extra something from the profile of a sandwich as small as a White Castle, which, is like 2.5 inches square, you should be able to see them. They were not there. So, in my great hunger and haste, I just thought I'd deal with it later. Just going to go to my appointment. Came back from the appointment, and I thought, because, again, this White Castle, it's on its way, I would stop by and I would say something. I went in, showed the cashier what happened. I told them what my problem was, and she confessed that ironically, the cashier I spoke to was actually the person who made the sandwich. And she said that she doesn't know how to make things with extra grilled onions. She's never very good at this. She thought that was extra grilled onions, and I showed her. It was the onions were barely visible. There was like a few little grains of shredded onion, and I said, well, could I get a replacement? Is that too much to ask? And I showed her the half-eaten burger so that she could see it. And she said, okay, but I got to go get a manager. So I get the manager to show up. And the manager chewed me out for a bit, saying that she doesn't like when people come in and they complain about the food, and they come in and they try to bring, they complain about the food, but then they bring nothing in. And I said, I clearly didn't do that because you're looking at something. And she says, no, you didn't bring any sandwich in. And I said, it is impossible for me to eat a sandwich and then bring the sandwich in. And I pointed at my stomach because it's impossible to eat something and have it visible and without problems. And eventually she said, okay, whatever. And this person's going to be the one making the sandwich. And so, of course, I was worried about this person spitting in my sandwich, and I talked to the cashier about this. Eventually, anyway, she made the sandwich, got it, looked at it. What do you know? No extra grilled onions. So anyhow, I look at this and I said, this is unacceptable. And I was, at this point, I didn't even want it. I was so frustrated. But I said, I'm just going to ask what it means when you ask for extra grilled onions. Because formerly, I'd been to White Castles where you ask for extra grilled onions and they give you a patty that's maybe 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch thick worth of grilled onions. And that was great. And that's what I was hoping to replicate. But when I got back, they said, so I asked, what does it mean to get extra grilled onions? And she basically said, and I said, what do you have to do to get this, to get a certain amount? She says, you've got to say extra, extra, extra grilled onions to get that. So what I was left, so I said, okay, fine. And I walked out. And so I said, so what I'm left with is to get the normal amount of, the sandwich is supposed to come with grilled onions. To get a normal amount of grilled onions is basically no grilled onions. You can't even see them. When you ask for extra grilled onions, you get the normal amount of grilled onions. And to get what you would consider to be more onions than normal, you have to say extra, extra, extra grilled onions. Which strikes me as a bit odd because it implies that there is some fixed meaning for the word extra, such that you can repeat the word to increase it. But the word means more. So more onions, more onions? What does this even mean? And that was my realization. Thinking about the status of American education and the status of our public discourse and how it seems that very few people in this country seem to have to value the meaning of words and heaven forbid, polite, decent conversation. This is when I realized we're not going to make it. The United States, I'm sure it'll do okay as a country, but we as American people, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. And that's when it hit me. Today is May 30th, 2019. God damn.